long before the towering spires of Waterdeep pierced the skyline, before its bustling markets echoed with the chatter of merchants and travelers. The land was wild, untamed, and largely in the hands of the elves. We're talking about -1000 DR, when the great elven kingdom of Illefarn reigned over the north. Now, Illenfarn wasn't just some pointy-eared retirement home in the woods. It was a thriving civilization, stretching from the high forest to the Sword Coast, ruled by elves who had seen centuries of history unfold. They had ancient cities of living wood, bridges woven from the boughs of colossal trees, and streets bathed in the glow of enchanted lanterns. They were stewards of the land, caretakers of magic, and arbiters of the balance between nature and civilization. Illenfarn was not just a kingdom, but a sophisticated network of elven enclaves, each governed by councils of druids, warriors, and mages who had honed their skills over lifetimes. Their capital, Illenfarn, stood as a beacon of harmony between civilization and nature, where buildings grew organically from the earth, shaped by magic rather than carved by tools. This city, known for its soaring spires of intertwined wood and crystal-clear rivers running through its streets, was the heart of the elven dominion in the north. The elves thrived in a society that valued artistry, scholarship, and the preservation of the land, with great halls filled with histories of their people, enchanted groves where druids communed with nature, and watchful sentinels who safeguarded their borders from external threats. Despite their vast wisdom and power, the elves of Illenfarn were not entirely isolated from conflict. They had seen the rise and fall of other civilizations, some of which had challenged their dominion. Orcish hordes, emboldened by their numbers, tested the elven defenses in vicious skirmishes, only to be driven back by the precise strikes of elven archers and the devastating power of their battle mages. To the south, the expansionist human empire of Netheril cast a long shadow, its ambitious spellcasters seeking to unlock secrets of magic even the elves dared not touch. While outright war never erupted between Illenfarn and Netheril, the elves watched their human counterparts with wary eyes, knowing that unchecked ambition could lead to catastrophe. Indeed, it was Netheril's own hubris that would lead to its downfall, and the elves, with their patient foresight, knew that their role was not to dominate, but to endure, preserving knowledge and balance for those who would come after them. But something was shifting in their world. Humans, not just a handful of wandering tribes, but settlers in numbers the elves had never seen before. These humans were not merely passing through, as so many had before. They were clearing land, building permanent homes, and forming communities. They were claiming the land in a way that was both impressive and, to the elves, alarming. And that's where our story begins. At first, the elves of Illenfarn viewed humans the way a scholar looks at an excitable puppy. Curious, full of potential, but prone to making a mess of things. They watched from their high forest homes as these short-lived creatures built ramshackle villages, quarried stone, and felled trees at an alarming rate. The elves, who measured time in centuries, saw this frantic growth as chaotic, even reckless. But despite their differences, the elves saw an opportunity. Humans were natural builders, innovators, and, most importantly, they were willing to trade. And so, a cautious relationship began. The elves shared their wisdom, teaching the humans of the region how to work the land, how to navigate the dense forests and treacherous coastline, and how to harness magic without setting their own eyebrows on fire. In exchange, the humans brought something the elves had never quite mastered: large-scale resource gathering, including mining, metallurgy, and more aggressive expansion. Trade routes were established, stretching from the high forest down to the Sword Coast and reaching as far as the Dezarin Valley and the Dillenbeer River. Timber, rare herbs, and crafted elven goods were exchanged for furs, metals, and labor with various human settlements, including early Eluskan tribes and Netherese expatriates who had begun settling in the region. This wasn't just a matter of convenience, it was a cultural shift. The elves, who once viewed humans as fleeting guests, began to see them as partners, even allies. As the humans learned from the elves, they began to settle in larger numbers. Villages formed, communities grew, and before long, the foundation of what would one day become Waterdeep was being laid, stone by stone. The elves, ever the long-game players, likely saw the writing on the wall. They had two choices: ignore the humans and hope they went away. Spoiler, they wouldn't. Or embrace the inevitable and guide them. They chose the latter. This era of collaboration wasn't without its tensions. Elven patience was legendary, honed over millennia of watching civilizations rise and fall, guided by a belief that time itself would resolve most conflicts. To the elves, decisions were made with the weight of centuries in mind, whereas humans, with their fleeting lifespans, acted with urgency, often pushing forward without considering long-term consequences. This difference in perspective led to friction, as human ambition drove rapid expansion, sometimes encroaching on sacred elven lands. Logging increased near Illenfarn's borders, and the once thriving forests began to recede. More than once, humans built too close to ancient groves or sacred sites, sparking tension and heated negotiations between the two peoples. Despite these tensions, there were remarkable moments of cooperation between the two civilizations. One of the most significant instances occurred during the Battle of the Shining Glade, where both elves and humans united to fend off an overwhelming orc invasion. The elven archers, masters of precision and patience, lined the treetops, while human warriors reinforced the ground positions, forming an unbreakable shield wall. Together, they turned what could have been a devastating loss into a defining victory, proving that despite their differences, they could stand together against common threats. This battle forged an unspoken alliance and reinforced the elves' reluctant respect for humanity's resilience and courage. Still, the elves of Illefarn managed to leave an indelible mark on what was to come. They infused their teachings into early human society, embedding traditions, architecture, and even elements of magic that persist in Waterdeep's culture to this day. Elven architecture inspired early human builders to incorporate graceful curves and natural elements into their designs, leading to structures that blended with the environment rather than dominating it. They also taught humans the importance of ley lines and how to construct buildings in harmony with magical energies, influencing Waterdeep's later wards and enchanted defenses. One of the most notable examples of this influence was the placement of Blackstaff Tower, home to the city's most powerful archmage. The elves advised its construction atop a convergence of ley lines, ensuring that its magical defenses were self-sustaining and that its spells could draw from the natural energy of the land. This practice continued with other key structures, such as the House of Wonder, Waterdeep's Temple of Mystra, where arcane energy flows freely through the foundation, enhancing the potency of spells cast within its halls. Culturally, the elves introduced humans to their storytelling traditions, shaping bardic practices that would endure in Waterdeep's taverns and noble courts. Their magical teachings extended to illusion and divination, disciplines once exclusive to elven scholars, but gradually adopted by human mages. Even today, remnants of Illenfarn's influence can be found in the arcane symbols woven into Waterdeep's streets and temples, silent echoes of the elves' attempt to guide the destiny of the city they left behind. The humans saw progress, while the elves saw the slow weaving of destiny, one that they hoped would carry their wisdom long after they had faded into myth. Eventually, the elves of Illefarn would fade from power in the region, retreating into myth and legend as their numbers dwindled. Their cities, once glowing beacons of magic and nature in harmony, fell silent. Some elves left for Evermeet, the legendary island refuge, while others simply disappeared into the depths of the high forest, choosing seclusion over conflict. Yet their legacy endured, shaping Waterdeep into the City of Splendors. And to think, it all started with a few elves deciding that, maybe, just maybe, these humans weren't entirely hopeless after all. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the lore, be sure to smash that like button like a barbarian on a rampage. And if you want to keep uncovering the mysteries of the realms, don't forget to roll for subscription and hit the bell so you never miss a quest. Until next time, may your rolls be high and your loot be legendary.